Hello, and welcome to Metpro Insights, a show about cable containment and the wider construction industry. Today, we're turning the focus back onto ourselves at Metpro Group, specifically our manufacturing brand, Demon Cato. And just before anybody reaches for the pause button or the big cross in the top corner, we're not going to be telling you how much labour saving you can get with roller tray. Well, at least not now, maybe at the end. And instead, we're going to be talking more exclusively about what's involved in this brand. I'm actually joined today by our Executive Chairman and somebody who once wanted to dub himself the Grand Fromage, Arthur Rudge. Hello, Arthur.
Morning, Jake.
Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining us lowly marketeers down here. I know you've got much more important things to probably be doing. But I think you're best placed to talk us through this. Obviously, you know, Metpro's been your business since 1995, and you're still heavily involved. So if you're okay, we'll dive straight in.
Okay.
When people hear Demon Cato, I would argue that they more often than not, they go straight to Conlok. That seems to be the most associated term. But as we know, there's a lot more to it than that. But before we get really into it, I think a bit of context is probably a good starting point. So we acquired the Demon Cato brand in the middle of 2021. What was the thought process behind that? Why did we do it?
Well, I think, Jake, there was a multiple level thought process in that acquisition. Of course, there was this product, the Conlok product and the roller tray product that were that business. But with with Demon Cato as a business, there were a number of associated manufacturing processes, and as a business since 2004, and I'm not sure how many people know this, but 40% of our business today is supplying products for OEMs to their specifications, invariably under license and under NDA agreements. And it's a side of the business that we have developed with no real brand. And we saw this Demon Cato as an opportunity as an umbrella over the manufacturing side of our business. And so now everything that we manufacture for OEMs and also specialist manufacturers, and I'm going to use the word innovation because that tends to be where we're going with this brand, we manufacture under the brand Demon Cato. Okay.
And there was a bit of a legacy relationship before we acquired Demon Cato, wasn't there? The original owners, we were working with them.
Yes, we were heavily involved in the supply chain for that product. We had some elements of assistance with them in terms of getting the product from concept to an actual live product, and that's been quite a collaboration. But the main driver obviously was them in terms of the innovation, and there is that history with it. But yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned a few minutes ago about it opened us up to a number of manufacturing capabilities. Could you take us through what they are?
Yes, indeed. I mean, we've got the major processes that we follow would be sheet steel fabrications. Mm-hmm. Again, variety of different processes there with press brake, laser cutting, progressive punching, rolling press and standard punch. Then we've got casting and forging, and a lot of our products under the OEM brand pretty much fall within either one of those three categories. But with the casting and forging, you can imagine a cast product or a forged product is quite a raw individual when it comes off the machine, but it then has to go through what we call a second op, which has opened us up to turning and milling. Mm-hmm. So there's a number of ways in which we can turn that product from a raw casting or forging into a specific part that can be used within multiple industries. We would do sintered steel products, injection moldings, and then within all of those categories, we've got the variety of materials, and probably the fastest or the more popular ones would be obviously carbon steels are the most popular. Aluminium, copper, and stainless steel tend to be the priority product materials.
Okay, and I suppose working with OEM businesses, I mean, there's no limit really on industries and sectors within that, is there?
Absolutely not. No, it's. I think that's been the fun part of that side of the business, because there's so it's just literally is a blank sheet of paper. I mean, we've been very fortunate. We've grown that side of the business, and we've been we're in the securities and door locks. We've got automotive products that we're supplying into the automotive industry, which carries quite a heavy quality control expectation. Building products, water management is an area that we've been very much aligned with since the last 17 years, which requires some really tight quality control aspects. We even do stage accessories. We're supplying to suppliers who supply to the theatres, and there's a variety. It's quite interesting the things these sectors open up in terms of our knowledge. But there are a number of bracketry, not dissimilar to the standard M&E bracketry and support systems, but they're designed purely for holding up or hanging or supporting the stage management products, the screens, etc. And all of those industries, that's just a selection of the ones we're supplying today. They all carry their own individual expectations in terms of quality. And then you've markets that we're supplying to would obviously be mainly the UK, but we have a growing demand now in mainland Europe, and certainly into the Middle East, which has been quite a surprise and an interesting development for us.
So it's certainly grown in success since the early days of 2004.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it was a very much. We were looking at ways in which we could expand Metpro at that time, and one of the things that we felt that we were good at was the ability to work and develop products in lower cost manufacturing bases. We had built up a network of people that we could work with in the early days of the business, and our communication, the way that we go to market, the way that we deal with the people in those countries it worked very, very well, and we built a reputation with them, and they were willing to listen and learn, and to the point now that we're supplying some really, I wouldn't call them high tech, but certainly high spec products that month in, month out are arriving here for distribution onto our customers with no issues whatsoever. It's just they come in and they go out, and the customer uses them day in, day out. And remembering, a lot of these products tend to be a byproduct. They tend to be a subcomponent of their finished product. So they have to fit with whatever else they're manufacturing as a complete product. And so we have to ensure that happens time after time after time, and we do.
So it's less that we're a manufacturer supplier to these companies. It's more that we're an extension to their business in a sense.
Sorry, say that again.
So it's less that we are a manufacturer and supplier to these customers. Instead, we're more of an extension to their business. If we're slotting in, making these components that have to fit perfectly within a larger assembly.
Well, absolutely, we're absolutely integral to their assembly process, and if we don't meet the standards they expect, then we can stop a production line, and that is catastrophic and costly, and one that we don't go down as a route. We ensure that we maintain. We'll come on to stocks probably later from you, but in terms of the way that we trade with our customers, they get the surety and the guarantee of the quality of the product.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned a few times throughout this the word quality and how important it is. I mean, you've just mentioned it again there. In the communications that we've put out, and I know that our sales team have been saying the same thing as well, the level of control we have to apply to these OEM business products or components is incredibly tight. Like, we have the tolerances that we're working to are so slim compared to the more standard range. We apply that same level of quality control to the standard range, though, don't we? We don't just go, right, that needs everything and this needs 10%.
No, not at all. It's exactly the same.
So how do we control it then? What does that process look like?
Well, from the starting point, we've got people in country. They tend to be nationals, and their sole function is to ensure that we receive all the quality documents into Metpro UK to ensure that our quality manager receives a full understanding of the product, the dimensions, the finish, the certificates to support all of that, the material certification, to allow us to inspect the goods, if you like, remotely. Now, that's obviously done by the people in country, but that's only the first level of quality control. In fact, I'm probably lying, that's the second level. The first level, obviously, is inherent on the factory themselves to make sure they do it, as is an inspection of, which is then translated to or sent to the UK. Our quality department here will receive that and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. That will allow the release of the goods. Now, obviously, we want to ensure that that happens and the quality of the product is exactly as we want it, because we don't want it to travel 6,000 miles and it'd be wrong. Yep. So it's a barrier, and it allows us to put our foot on the ball and make sure that we are likely to receive what we're being told. That invariably 99.9% of the time happens, but then again, when the goods arrive in the UK, our own quality department go through exactly the same quality inspection, and we probably take it a stage further in terms of things like material specification. Whilst we have a certificate, we are able to check the actual material specification and the chemical analysis. So we can go and take it a stage further. So we can then endorse the paperwork that we've received to ensure that when we put the product on the shelf ready for the customer's call off, it is exactly as they want it.
And I know that I've used this before. I mean, you've certainly said it to me before as well. But in 27 years of trading, how many quality issues have we actually had that have reached market?
Yeah, I think in terms of reaching market, less than 5. But they tend to be, when they've got to the market, it's actually, you find that it's rogue parts.
Right.
It's not an inherent. It's not a reflection of the whole delivery.
Okay.
It tends to be rogue parts. I can probably say on less than 2 hands, in 10 years, have we received products where we're not able to actually send it out, because the product is not a true reflection of what we were expecting. But the beauty again was it never got into the market. It never has. We've never had a situation where we've stopped a production line, or where we've caused an ongoing problem because the product we've supplied doesn't work with the customer's requirement. Okay.
I think I just want to switch it up a bit now and start to talk about how, because Demon Cato for the wholesaler customers is all about innovation. You know, we've got Conlok, roller tray, rapid saddle within there. And I think what might be interesting to understand is how exactly these products came about, because with OEM customers, there's a relatively set process of how we operate. It begins with a request for an inquiry. We'll go away and do some work, come back with some costings, and then from there it progresses to tooling, sample approval, and we're working with the customer, holding hands all the way through it. And then we bring stock in, hold it here, and they call off as they need to, which we can discuss more afterwards. But what's the process because Rapid Saddle was it was conceived internally at Metpro Group.
Yep.
And then we've done rapid prototyping in-house. We've built the models, done the stress tests. We've gone away and we brought the product in, and now it's on the shelves. Mm-hmm. But unless I'm wrong, roller tray and Conlok were conceived by external people, and we've developed the product in conjunction with them.
Yes, because invariably from an inventor's point of view, they develop a concept that they like. That doesn't necessarily mean to say you can manufacture that product physically. So we have to look at it and be a part of the development of that, from the concept to what is realistic. With roller tray, for instance, the product was 98% there in terms of the inventors and the concept and the process, but it did have 1 or 2 flaws with it, which we were able to assist and overcome. And we then looked at the process of manufacturing to ensure that we could make that without incurring major costs to achieve it.
Right.
Rapid Saddle was certainly another one. When we were looking at the concept was there, which is our concept, but we went through a number of prototypes because the initial prototype was fabulous. We loved it, but you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So we played with that, and the team here were diligent and stuck at it, and eventually came up with the concept and the actual ability to manufacture the product at a relatively low cost basis.
Which is now what we've got sitting on the shelves, and I will reflect back on what I said at the start. Now is time. It's 90% labour savings, just for anybody listening. And are there any other developments?
Yeah, there are. We've talked about the Conlok range and the success that we've been able to add to that since we bought the business, all those brands. But we've recently launched the Conlok tube, which is a natural progression for range completion. And we've also launched the clean room products, which are all Conlok related, with the tube to suit. So those are another step forward. They're innovation, again, allowing the product to be used as a complete range, as I've said. They bring the time-saving implications into the product as well. And the best bit, I think, now is because we can offer that range completion, we're happy to stand behind it and endorse it with a 7-year warranty, which as a range of products we're unaware of is available in the market today. Okay.
Just for the purposes of people listening, these products are now available, and for more information, contact our sales team. Okay, so why are these products important? What's the thought process behind them? Why are we interested in bringing products like Conlok and Roller Tray and Rapid Saddle to the construction industry?
I think it's innovation. I mean, my background for goodness me, since 1987, so I can't even count that far back. But my whole background has been built around the cable management industry, and I've throughout that time, you see things, you think of things. You tend to have quite an active mind in ways in which we can improve. And cable management as a product range generally hasn't really developed much beyond when it was invented, whether it was the turn of the last century for conduit or the mid-50s, 60s for trunking and tray. It's been fairly static. So, there are little things that we've been looking at, and that's where we're trying to invite innovation. I think part of in our brochure, our website, we utilise those fields to let people know and invite them in. We're working on a couple of products today that have come about. They're end user led through one of our customers, and we've had conversations with them about their concept, the benefits and features that they bring, and the opportunity for us to introduce a product into the market that does offer savings in terms of installation costs, etc. I tend to be the way people want to go now. There's a necessarily an expectation, but there is people are more willing these days to consider that there is a slightly different way to bring products to market that can offer these advantages without when they don't necessarily look that different to the original design.
Yeah, I think that's quite key. That was the whole. I remember Rapid Saddle being developed, and I think a couple of early iterations of the product looked quite different to your traditional saddles, and we quickly kiboshed them because we just thought no, people won't go for it because they need that. They want innovation, but the familiarity also needs to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. And have you got a vision? Have you got like where you see the Demon Cato Innovations brand going?
I think there's a great opportunity with the Demon Cato brand in terms of innovations. I think the market is, as I said, receptive to ideas. We are working with our our product development department continuously looking at opportunities. We are expanding the opportunity with innovation and inventors, and trying to cajole people into bringing those concepts to us. And I think it's probably important to say at this stage, because I think a lot of people perhaps have ideas and are worried that their idea is going to slip away from them because it's their idea and that they don't know how they can hold on to it. We would be, and we do work with people today. We're more than happy to sign up to all sorts of sensible NDAs that give complete control of the product and the design to the inventor. What we're trying to do is to smooth that pathway from their idea and their invention and make it a product that has legs. It is able to be manufactured. It is at the right cost and allows us to go to the market with this type of innovation. So it really is, again, an open field, and that's why I'd like to invite on the back of this podcast anybody that's got those ideas. Your rights and your designs would be 100% remain with you, and we can then talk about how we can get that to the next stage for you if we can be the vehicle for that.
Okay. For anybody listening who that's kind of that's resonated with or has been thinking about doing something like this and wasn't quite sure where to go, by all means get in touch. Email us. We'll put a couple of email addresses and other bits of contact information in the description for this episode below on whichever platform you're listening on. And yeah, just to echo what Arthur just said, we encourage it. Please talk to us. There's no obligation at all. Come and see us. We can do it remotely either way. And yeah, see how we can help you develop it. I think we've covered quite a lot there, and I hope that people listening have got a deeper understanding of Demon Cato outside of the fast fix conduit system of Conlok, which also offers 75% labour savings. And so I think a couple of last questions for you, really, Arthur. One's going to catch you off guard, so my apologies. But firstly, Demon Cato, the brand acquired July 21. Has it been worth it?
100%. It's been, like I said, it was a multi-layered opportunity. We've brought in a successful product and brand in Conlok and roller tray. We've further enhanced that and developed that beyond where it was at that point. And at the same time, we've then been able to rebrand our manufacturing and OEM's bespoke business under this Demon Cato brand, which we feel puts a title on us and it makes it more meaningful. It gives people a target and an understanding, rather than a very sort of glib, we can manufacture your products for you. It begins to put ownership into it, and that's what we want to try and get the message across for. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think there's a certain level of maturity with our brand now and the way we take ourselves to market, and it's certainly resonated with a number of people within the industry, people I've spoken to, and the feedback I get from our sales team. So I think it's absolutely been a fantastic move. Last question: what do you believe is the main consideration for UK businesses within the construction industry at the moment?
I think we're in a situation where costs are at an all-time high. In terms of not just product but labour and all the other associated costs with our industry. So I think what we've got to try and do is be very purposeful in our thoughts, try and understand and use that word again, innovate. The opportunity to create products that will do the same job, that will save time, and allow people to actually save money throughout their process and be more economical.
Whilst never compromising on quality.
Absolutely not, no.
Excellent. Well, Arthur, thank you for that. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and thanks again for taking the time out of your very busy day to talk to us. As always, anybody listening, you can connect with myself and Arthur and the majority of our team on LinkedIn. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram, and also YouTube. And just to reiterate the point from earlier, anybody out there who's got a product idea, maybe you've been stewing on it for a while, refining it over a number of years, or something that you're working on site and you think, oh, I wish we could do this in this way, talk to us. There'll be contact information against the description for this episode, and we'd love to have a conversation with you and see where we can take things. So as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Thank you.